Some stories are written in ink, others are written in blood. Turn the pages of history back to the year 1888. Deep within the forgotten archives of London, there is a chapter so dark the ink has never truly dried. Before you is the story of the world's most infamous phantom, a monster who stalked the foggy streets, leaving behind a trail of terror that remains unsolved to this very day. Are you ready to open the book, follow the bloody trail, and uncover the chilling truth? Enjoy the journey into the dark mind of Jack the Ripper. London, 1888. The fog rolling off the River Thames doesn't just obscure the gas-lit streets, it chokes them. It is a labyrinth of wet cobblestones, shifting shadows, and deafening silence. In the dark heart of the British Empire, a monster is hunting. He stalks the forgotten alleyways, slipping through the night with a terrifying, invisible grace. He leaves no witnesses. He leaves no trace. Over the course of 10 brutal weeks, 5 women are stolen from the world, their lives extinguished with a surgical precision that baffles the greatest detectives on earth. To one of the myths we've been told for over 100 years hide a much darker, much more complex reality. Who was the man who paralyzed a metropolis? And what if the most famous clue he ever left behind was nothing but a lie? Welcome to the Abyss. This is the true story of Jack the Ripper. To understand the predator, we must first understand his hunting ground. In the late 19th century, London is the wealthiest city on the globe. But just a few miles east of the gleaming palaces of Westminster lies Whitechapel, a slum so destitute, it feels like a different world. 80,000 people are packed into a single square mile. The air is a toxic miasma of coal smoke, slaughterhouse runoff, and raw sewage. For the women living in these overcrowded lodging houses, survival came at a terrifying cost. Work is scarce. For many, the only way to afford a stale piece of bread or a bed for the night is to sell themselves in the pitch-black alleyways. They are the discarded, the forgotten. It is here, in this claustrophobic maze, that the killer finds his perfect stage. But soon, a shadow will step out of the fog, and Whitechapel will capture the terrified attention of the entire world. August 31st, 1888. At 3:40 in the morning, a car driver walking down the dim, narrow passage of Bucks Row makes a grim discovery. Lying in the darkness is the body of Mary Ann Nichols, known to her friends as Polly, a mother, a daughter, a life taken with a swift, devastating brutality. At first, police believe it is an isolated tragedy. They are dead wrong. 8 days later, a second discovery would reveal a chilling detail about the killer's identity. September 8th. The killer strikes again. Annie Chapman is found in the backyard of a lodging house. The coroner's report reveals something that chills the police to their core. The killer possesses an unnerving level of anatomical knowledge. The strikes are deliberate, surgical, executed in near-pitch darkness. The police flood the streets with thousands of officers, believing they have the killer trapped. But he is about to prove just how untouchable he really is. Sunday, September 30th, 1 a.m. A jewelry salesman turns his horse into Dutfield's yard and spots something on the ground. It is Elizabeth Stride. Tragically and crucially, evidence suggests the killer was interrupted. Forced to flee into the shadows, the killer is on the run, likely covered in blood, navigating streets swarming with police. He should retreat. Instead, driven by a dark compulsion, he does the unthinkable. Just 45 minutes later, a police constable shining his lantern into Mitre Square makes a devastating discovery. Catherine Eddowes. In less than an hour, he has claimed 2 lives in 2 jurisdictions. The double event. As detectives search the area, they find a cryptic message scrawled on a wall. A piece of Catherine's apron is found beneath a chalk message blaming the Jewish community. Fearing riots, a high-ranking official orders the message washed away, destroying the only physical evidence connected to the killer. The police are blind. As the terror peaks, the Central News Agency receives a letter written in red ink. The author taunts the police. He brags about his crimes, but it is the signature at the bottom that sears itself into history. It reads, Jack the Ripper. The name transforms a local murderer into an immortal supervillain. But modern experts have uncovered a shocking truth about this letter. Overnight, Scotland Yard is buried under thousands of fake letters, paralyzing the investigation. But here is where historical fact diverges from myth. Today, most credible forensic linguists agree that the Dear Boss letter was a hoax, a fabrication written by an ambitious journalist looking to sell newspapers. The killer never named himself. The media created the monster. And while the police chased phantom letters, the real killer was preparing for his final, most terrifying act. November 9th, 1888. The skies over London are thick with the freezing rain. Inside a small room in Miller's Court, 25-year-old Mary Jane Kelly has retreated from the cold. Unlike previous victims attacked in the open streets, Mary is behind closed doors. Because the killer was indoors, shielded from patrolling constables, he had something he never had before: time. What happens in that room remains one of the darkest chapters in criminal history. The brutality inflicted upon Mary Jane Kelly is unprecedented. It is a scene of such apocalyptic destruction that seasoned detectives are left weeping in the courtyard outside. And then, nothing. After November 9th, the phantom of Whitechapel vanishes completely. Where did he go? Did he die? Was he imprisoned for another crime? The sudden silence is as terrifying as the violence itself. For over 130 years, investigators and scientists have desperately tried to unmask Jack the Ripper. The suspect list is a bizarre cross-section of Victorian society. Montague John Druitt, a depressed schoolteacher who drowned in the Thames shortly after the final murder. Aaron Kosminski, a severe schizophrenic who lived in Whitechapel. In recent years, modern science claimed to have finally closed the case using DNA. But were they right? In 2014, and again in 2019, researchers claimed mitochondrial DNA from a shawl belonging to Catherine Eddowes pointed directly to Aaron Kosminski. Headlines declared the case closed, but independent geneticists quickly pointed out massive flaws. The DNA was highly degraded, contamination was severe, and there was no proof the shawl was even at the crime scene. Despite modern technology, the ghost continues to slip through our fingers. The mystery of Jack the Ripper remains unsolved because he was a phantom born from the smoke and misery of a society completely unequipped to understand a serial murderer. But in our endless obsession with the monster, we have committed a grave injustice. We have remembered the killer and forgotten the women whose lives were stolen. Mary Ann Nichols, Annie Chapman, Elizabeth Stride, Catherine Eddowes, Mary Jane Kelly. They were not merely victims. They were daughters, mothers, and friends. They were women who fought desperately to survive in a world that offered them no mercy. They deserve our empathy and our memory far more than the coward who stalked them in the dark. The fog of 1888 has long since cleared, but their tragic stories must remain in the light.